I'll show you guys how I go through this video, so let's get started. Alright. First off, I'm just going to knock out that bulk. Right now what I have on this clipper, I got the 1 1/2 on my Oster Volt, and that's what I'm going to use to go ahead and just remove all that bulk. You're going to see I knocked that down really quick, and I've also taken the time to clip off the top. This is good because it gets that hair out of your way and lets you just concentrate on that fade. On that other side of the head, it's going to be disconnected. I'm not going to blend all that hair in, so you just want to find that right spot just above the parietal ridge where you can go ahead and clip that hair off, so it's going to look good when he styles it. Again, going through with the Oster Volt, just putting in my skin line. Of course, this only takes seconds with this machine, and if you don't have it, you might want to look into using a detachable at least, because you'll reduce that bulk so fast. And some of the areas you can save time in the haircut, that's one of them. And if you have the right machine and you're not using your trimmer, you're going to find that incredibly useful, and I use it all the time. So I'm moving on with my Braun Series 9. Another machine that's just a beast. It just goes through the hair so fast and without any issues. I never have any issues with this machine. It's just such a good, clean, easy cutting machine. It's better than anything else I've ever used, and I'm going to leave some room for the Babyliss Pro Foil. I'll probably grab one of those eventually. If any of you guys have used it and you like it, go ahead and leave me a comment about it. I'd like to hear what you say, but I haven't had good experiences with Babyliss, and just buying something from them sort of puts a taste in my mouth that I don't like, but I might give them another chance. I've said a million times I'll never buy another thing from them, but yeah, I might give them another chance. But anyways, I'm beginning this fade. Now this is my take on the fade. I want you guys to check this out. This is a half guard closed, and I prefer to put this line in with the half guard closed just because of the fact that when you close the clipper, it always cuts better. And basically, it's the exact same thing as using an open taper, except for you're allowing the clipper to cut a little bit easier. So it's going to be a little bit easier for the machine to work when those two blades are closer together. The stationary and the cutting blade are closer together, and they're going to allow you to cut a little smoother. Now I'm going through with the open taper, and the follow-up move here. Now that the bulk is gone, you're going to find it's really easy to remove this line. So I'm keeping it on an angle. I've zoomed it really close in because some of you guys have asked for me to zoom it in. You wanted to see a little bit more detail work. And basically what you see me doing right now is I'm closing this clipper little by little, and I'm staying a little bit lower, but the key point, the most important thing you see me doing right now is I'm keeping that clipper on an angle, and at times I'm only touching one of the blades down. And you're going to see this skin line start to just be removed super easy. And it's so easy removing the skin line with the open taper after you've done the half close, because you pretty much laid all the groundwork for you. These blades have a little bit of overlap in between them, and that's why they work so good together. And you won't see me return to the half guard until after I've completed the number 1. So once I've done the number 1, then you'll see me go ahead and return to the half guard. Hey, by the way, I hope by the time this video posts, I'm looking at a victory for my boys here, Go Blue, and I hope they beat Florida today. But you know, I just hope that by the time this video posts, that has already transpired and we are sitting on a W. I don't know if any of you guys know, but yeah, I like Michigan. So, you know, being in my Bills ain't that great. But let's get back to this. You see me returning and going back to the trimmers. In this step, I'm going to go ahead and keep that clipper on an angle, and I'm going to reduce any kind of demarcation line that I might have from where I did the 5-0 to where I did the skin. This is a great time to touch back and go back to this step. Don't be afraid to take a step back before you go forward. So many people get confused in their fade and they're all over the place because they're not paying attention to the previous steps close enough. So go back a step before you go forward. Think about it this way, like one step back, 2 steps forward. So each time you go forward, you might have to go back because no hair is the same and no shape of the client's head is going to be the same. So when you go back, sometimes you're making accommodations for the shape of the head, the contour and things like that is what's actually showing you a shadow or a line. So you see me going through with the number 1. I did what I could with the number 1. I did it open, did it closed, and now you see me going back with the half guard where there's going to be very minimal amount of hair to clean up, and it might even be possible that I go all the way back with the open taper and just use those corners, keep it on an angle, and just work real carefully with it so that you don't make any mistakes. So you see me moving in there with the corners. I have the half guard completely closed again, and I'm just seeing if I could reduce that shadow a little bit and keep moving it on different angles. Try to come against the grain. Try your best to get that hair. And just don't be worried about like, don't be worried about like going over it and over it a couple times, because sometimes you'll go over an area a bunch of times before you get it right, before you find just that directional move that you needed to, before you come in directly against the grain and you're getting all that blade's worth. And let me tell you something else. If what you're doing is not getting that line out, which of course I'm repeating the same process on the other side, but if what you're doing is not getting that line out, there's only one way to go. All right, you're gonna have to go shorter, right? So if you're using a half guard and it's not getting that line out, then yes, you're gonna have to go back to the open taper. So it's important that you understand where your steps are. So obviously, you got open taper, half guard, one and one half guard, two guard, and then you have the opens and the closes in between them. So as long as you know what direction you're going or what step you're taking, you'll always know what the next thing to do is. People say all the time, hey Ed, I get lost in my fades, I'm not sure what to do. Sometimes I see you use the half, and then other times I see you skip the half. And it doesn't really matter what you see just about any barber doing. The only thing that matters is that you understand the process that he's taking in his own way. So I guess what I'm trying to say by that is, if he's using, say, a number one and that line isn't coming out, then you know that the next step down, if he's already closed the one off, the only area he can go, the next step down, he's going to use the half open, right? And if the half open isn't getting it down, he's going to close the half guard a little bit. And if that's not getting it done, he's going to continue moving down. Now, if a barber decides to skip the half guard, we like to skip the half guard sometimes if we were using an open taper to set that line in instead of a closed half guard. We like to skip the half guard sometimes. And the only reason for that is we can pretty much wipe out the line almost entirely with the number one. And then when you go back through with the half guard, there's just a little bit of cleanup. Now, sometimes if you use the half guard right off the bat, it's possible you might bring the whole fade up a little bit higher than you intended to. Sometimes I bring the half guard into this and I show you guys how to do it in order. Not necessarily the thing that I always do on my day-to-day when I'm sitting here in this chair. I don't always do that, all right? But I'm just showing you guys something that I feel like makes sense to you. When I show it to you in order, it's because I want it to make sense to you. I want you guys to see me using the fade scale in the order, but now using it in the order doesn't always mean that that's the best way to use it. Sometimes, for efficiency, you have to do things in different orders. And as you get more comfortable, don't worry about it. You'll be able to break every rule that we set. You'll be able to just change everything for yourself, and you can do it in any way that you see fit. But the real reason why you're struggling is because maybe you just don't understand how all these things line up together. But once you do understand how all these things line up together, you can feel free to do this however you want. All right. So once again, we're over here filming. It is 6:30 in the morning, and I'm on the grind. And I'm gonna tell you guys, I've already done a couple customers. I start at 5:30 a.m. on Saturdays. And it's just pretty cool, the fact that you're able to pretty much shape this business to whatever you want. I happen to be an early riser, and some people are late sleepers. So yeah, you're gonna be up in the shop late at night. You'll be up there at 8, 9 o'clock at night. I like to leave a little bit earlier today, so I prefer to get in here this early and get my money made before I go home. So that's why I really feel like this is the best business for me. This is the best business that I could have ever found myself in, and I'm just so thankful because I really feel like barbering sort of saved me from some of the hardships that other work would have presented. I mean, there was one time in this business that I stepped away from this business and I just tried something else, because I've been cutting hair since 2003 and I was miserable. And when I came back to the barbershop, I knew that this is where I want to be, this is where I wanted to stay. And I experienced life outside the barbershop just this one time, and I realized that it wasn't for me. And I sort of came back, and I was just so thankful for what I have. And I thank God like every day that I get to wake up and I get to do this. And it's just super cool that I get to share some of this stuff with you guys. So again, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. You're going to see me just finish up this haircut. I'm going to go ahead and shape him up. I'll show all that. I used a little bit of enhancements. You guys can check it out. Rock out to some music. And yeah, subscribe if you're not already, man. I'm dropping videos like this like all the time, and I'm trying to put as much content as I possibly can. And I'm always looking for new opportunities to film different things. So if you have any requests, just leave them in the comments. Other than that, I'll see you guys in my next video. Thanks for watching. I am out. Now, a word from our sponsors. We don't have any sponsors, okay? This is just me trying to make a difference. I make all the videos, I edit them, I shoot them, I film them. I got all the cameras, the equipment, computers, and it's all very expensive to make these YouTube videos. Okay, anybody who's interested in checking out some of the tools that I use, like this is my total favorite setup. It's battle tested. I've used it for many years. Most of the stuff here has been here for a long time and it works excellent. Go ahead and click that link in the drop down below and you can check those out. And I finally got some merch up on the channel, and if you decide to scoop one, it really helps the channel out. If this channel helps you out and you want to support it and you want to see more of it, anything you do like that will really help me out. And also I want to do more product giveaways and stuff like that, but it's expensive, and I left a link to my PayPal down below. If you guys kick in a little donation, we're gonna start getting in some of this. I can start giving away more clippers and I can start doing some more things. You find it in your heart to throw even just as little as $1 or $2, it could go a long way to getting some of these clippers in some of these people's hands that might need them, and I can continue to do this for more people.